Sat Nam, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Jai Gobind, and this is your channel for grace. We are here today to talk about our full moon in Capricorn, the first of two that are actually happening Cancer season. So there's kind of a lot of things to talk about and a lot of things to explore. I want to pull up the chat on YouTube though, where we should be able to now see the notification. So we can, I can interact with you guys on YouTube. Oh, there it was. Okay, here it is. That are actually happening Cancer. I'm totally like not in my normal regular space, so it's kind of crazy, but here's what we do in these broadcasts. I'm gonna get on track any second now. So we are going to talk about the full moon, the astrology. I'll show you the chart on the screen. I'm going to do a screen share. And we are also going to talk about the gene key of the full moon. I'm going to read the city. And once we get going, it's like it just kind of flows from there. If you are interested in joining our free community, I highly recommend it. We have our global community. This is an amazing place for us to come together. We have free events that are always happening. And I am thinking of doing a meditation soon, a group meditation in the meditation hub, which we haven't done an event there for a while now. But all the links basically you can find them in any of my YouTube videos. If you're watching this on YouTube, all you have to do to join the community is just create an account, like a login and password, and then you're in and you can access all the free stuff. And if you want to join us for a deeper dive into all of this astrology, we have the Starseed membership, which is a $22 a month commitment. And there is tons of content. We meet like multiple times a month, twice a month now, like 100% like standard, because we do a workshop for each month to look into our astrology and see like, where is this season happening in our chart? We are following the ancient Atlantean wisdom, the astrological wisdom that I teach in my Moon Goddess training. And we also meet for a group session where we come together and check in and get to, check everything out. So it's an amazing community. And that's the thing that I love the most about our community is the people. So excited for you to come and check that out. I will be there are a couple of courses that I am currently designing and preparing and getting ready for like putting them out. It's going to be a goddess astrology school where we dive into everything about the goddess within the realm of astrology. It's going to be super fun. And the other one is an astrology mentorship that is going to be a year-long mentorship where we will be meeting once a month and having like a once a month lecture, doing homework together, and then on our own, and then coming together and putting it all together in like a group class, a group setting. And I can't wait for that because it's going to be so fun to learn all these amazing things about astrology in that way. And you'll get the personal attention. So that program is going to be for anyone who's really wanting to sort of be an astrologer and learn how to do readings. And I will, everyone will participate, and the group is not going to be so big so that we can't, we don't have enough space or room, I guess, to make sure everyone gets seen and heard and gets to practice. So I'm really excited about that. So those things are coming up. And then I'm also going to be doing a Jupiter in Gemini special workshop that you will get for free. It's included in the Starseed membership, but you will be able to purchase it separately if you want to. Hello, Kim. Welcome in to the YouTube chats. Okay, let me share my screen so I can show you guys what we're dealing with here. And there's a lot of really interesting things about this moon. So the first of all, we are like this close to the summer solstice. Summer solstice is technically on June 21st on Friday. And on Thursday, the sun enters into Cancer and we enter Cancer season. And we've had a crazy Gemini season. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but we've had a crazy Gemini season. It's been a little bit out of control, a little bit intense for me, but it has been kind of like a wild ride that is soon to evolve into the next phase. And the next phase is going to be this Cancer season. And the crazy thing about Cancer season is that we're going to see 2 full moons in Capricorn. I don't know if did you guys know that? So what we're looking at right now is the page where I write about the first full moon in Capricorn. Hello, Jeanette, welcome in. The first full moon in Capricorn that happens right basically at 1 degree of Capricorn, and the sun is at 1 degree of Cancer. And then it happens again at the very end, I believe at 29 degrees. If we can just go like this. Yep, 29 degrees. So 1 degree and then 29 degrees. So it's almost like this Cancer season is being like sandwiched between these 2 full moons in Capricorn that happen, hey babe, that happen as the moon comes in and then happens as the moon goes out. Hello, Anya. Yeah, hello everyone. I didn't say hi to everyone. I should definitely do that real quick. Hello, Anya. Hello, Bernadine. Hello, Gina. Hello, Jeanette. Hello, Raessa and Kim and Dawn watching on YouTube. Really happy to see you guys here. So this is crazy. Like in my opinion, I'm like, whoa. And this, I believe, is really the only season during this year, this astrological year, where we're having these 2 full moons. Raessa says, I just learned about the 2 full moons earlier. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So that's what makes this full moon significant. But there's a lot actually, because it's also happening on the day of the summer solstice. And that happens occasionally. Like occasionally a solstice or an equinox will also have a full moon or a new moon aligned with it. And it's fun. It's kind of like a cool coincidence, a cool, no coincidences. It's a beautiful synchronicity. But it makes it a pretty big deal because the solstice is one of the, I would say, one of the more powerful of like the summer solstice of the all 4 made, like the 2 equinoxes and the 2 solstices. The summer solstice is a pretty big deal because it's where we get to transition, at least according to the ancient Atlantean wisdom, to this energy of expression. So the spring is the first season of the zodiac wheel. It's the seasons of Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. And then when we get to Cancer, we change seasons. We get to the summer, so it's Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. And then when we get to Libra, we do the fall equinox, and it's Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. And then when we get to Capricorn season, it's the winter solstice, and we have Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. And that's the whole zodiac wheel. So it's spring, summer, fall, winter, and the energies of expression, experimentation, integration, and transcendence, which is like this beautiful like cycle of life that goes on. And we are now transitioning. So that's the second thing that is really important to know about this full moon, that it's happening on a day where the summer solstice is beginning. And that summer solstice marks the beginning of the energy where we really get to watch the unfoldment of like everything that we've been like working, all the things that we seeded, all the things that we we're working steadily towards in Taurus season, all the things, all the wildness of Gemini season, and our need to like express ourselves. Well, now we get to this area of home and family, which is Cancer, but it's also ruled by the moon, which is the feminine, the nurturing energy. So now it's like we really bring it home. And sorry, I just heard like a dog bark out there. I'm like, what's going on? So now I don't think my mom knew she let one of the dogs out. So I'm like, I'm live. I can't do nothing about it. So basically, we get to this point where it's the expression of everything. It's like the full manifestation of everything. And it is like where we get to really see it, the unfoldment of it. So that's what is actually really exciting about this full moon. So we have Cancer season, we have the summer solstice, and we have the first full moon in Capricorn happening all at the same time. That's pretty rare. That's like, it's not common, right? So that makes it a really beautiful and powerful full moon. So we should pay attention to it. And when you look at the astrology, you'll see, well, what's the theme? Because it'll mark the energy of Cancer season will be sort of like painted by the energy of this full moon. And then it will the cycle will really complete itself when we have that second full moon in Capricorn at the end of the season. So this season is like, it's like it comes in this like really powerful and intense energy that we get to watch really unfold. And full moons, if you remember, generally full moons are about heightened emotions. They are about celebrations. So seeing like the culmination of the energy of like the last 2 weeks, where we ended, the cycle kind of like began with this like new moon in Gemini, and it's now this full moon in Capricorn. It's really making us take this like full transition into like a whole new world, the world of Cancer, in the world of emotions, which is interesting because Cancer is the emotions, but the moon is, and the energy of Capricorn is the energy of Saturn, and Saturn is restrictor of things, and he can restrict the emotions. So we just have to be very aware of both ends of the spectrum, Cancer, Capricorn, both very strong at the same time. So on this page of my book, I wrote about the basic energies of the moon. There is no significant stargates with this moon, which is interesting. So what that does, it just brings the focus really on where the astrology of it, like the Capricorn energy, what is the moon, what aspects is the moon making to some of the other planets. The chakra is the crown chakra, which is all about us connecting to our higher self. And there's also a connection because it's the 10th. Funny that Saturn rules the 10th house, Capricorn rules the 10th house, and this just happens to be happening on the 10th gene key. I didn't even notice that until just right now, which is kind of crazy. But this energy is about the 10th house's mission, purpose, and the crown connects us to our higher self. And that energy of Saturn and Capricorn is about showing up. So all of those themes are big themes right now for this moon. Then the system of the body is the skeletal system. And the skeletal system is the structure. It's the foundation. If you don't have a strong foundation, you will feel it for sure. So knowing your foundation is really, really powerful for you to notice what is the foundation that is being set right now for you. So if you have a good foundation, if you have a good structure right now that you're building upon, sounds so funny because we're literally building a structure and a foundation on our house, then you will feel like, okay, I'm set up for the success that is unfolding here. And then we'll talk about the 10th gene key and the 10th gate. But let's go right into the chart. And I'm going to also I actually meant to go right here to show you where this is happening, and so you can kind of take a look at it as well. So how do you know that we're having a full moon? Well, the sun and the moon are making an opposition to each other. They are exactly at 1 degree and 7 minutes. So the sun just entered Cancer and the moon just entered Capricorn. And here we have this beautiful duality, this beautiful polarity showing up very strongly, because full moons are moons that shine a bright light on a specific thing. So let's first decipher what is Capricorn. Capricorn, I mentioned a little bit about it. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is the lord of time and karma. Saturn is the father figure in a sense. He is authority. He represents authority. He represents structure. You also have to look at the degree though, because hello, Mama. Oh, welcome in. You have to look at the degree, because depending on what degree it's at, the energy is either like very young or very wise. And 1 degree of Capricorn is probably, it's definitely more of the younger, the more inexperienced aspect of Capricorn. So I feel like what I'm tuning into right now is that it opens up, or it gives us like an opportunity to begin to design the whole structure of the month, because this is happening right as the sun enters Cancer. So we're designing what the month is going to look like. We're designing how it's going to unfold. We're designing the structure of it. And this is the beginning of that journey. So wherever you're at in life, you can think of that as the beginning. You can think of that as, from here, I move forward. Where am I standing right now? What's the grounding that I'm standing right now? Because Saturn is going to build. Saturn likes to be ambitious, is ambitious, wants to have success, wants to climb the ladder, wants to be in control, wants to have a strong foundation, will work really hard to make sure that to meet their goals and their ambitions. So determination is a powerful frequency that we're entering Cancer season with, the determination of Capricorn energy. It's like, whoa, okay, why do we need this? You know, kind of a big deal. So the second thing that we can look at is what is the ruling planet doing during this time? And the ruling planet is over here in Pisces. And Saturn isn't necessarily like, doesn't necessarily feel amazing in Pisces, because Pisces is so boundless. Pisces is like so spiritual. Pisces is so expansive. It's infinite. And Saturn is a definer of things. So in a world of boundlessness, Saturn has to learn a different way of structuring the world, or it's a way of understanding everything. Saturn has to find a way to learn the laws of the universe, not just the laws of humanity or the laws of, our country or things like that. It has to learn the laws of the universe. It has to open itself up to a bigger world, an expanded world, a boundless world that is not without laws. So there's a lot of wisdom there too, because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So Saturn in the last sign of the zodiac is like the wisdom of his entire journey through the zodiac is like coming through. And he's at 19 degrees, which is a strong energy. Like once you pass 15 degrees, you're past halfway through the journey. So it's already like the second half of the life, of that transit. So he's like, by this time, he feels more comfortable. He kind of is really starting to understand it better and be wise about it. Because Saturn does bring wisdom. Sometimes it's harsh wisdom. Sometimes it's like difficult wisdom, but he brings wisdom. And if you pay attention, it's like The lessons you learn with Saturn are some of the hardest and harshest, but they're the ones that will stick with you forever, and you will have these lessons forever. So something about Cancer season is really powerful, and it will unfold as we continue to watch. The other thing that's happening on over here, you'll notice that we also have Venus and Mercury in Cancer along with the Sun. And in fact, today, Mercury, the day I'm filming this video, Mercury and Venus entered Cancer together, and they are at like 0 and 1 degree right now because Mercury is like flying through the signs. But Cancer is the emotional frequency, right? So the Sun in Cancer is it's an emotional time. It's a time for nurturing ourselves, but nurturing our families as well. It's a time for us to pay attention to our emotions. It's a time for us to pay attention to the moon cycles. And this is a moon cycle. A full moon is a moon cycle. Venus is the goddess of love and beauty. She just had her Venus start point in Gemini with the Sun in Gemini season, and she likes the water signs. Well, except maybe Scorpio. But she likes, this is like, oh, love, nurturing, the goddess, the feminine, the mother. Like, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful frequency, inviting us to be more nurturing in our relationships with the people we love. And then Mercury is like, okay, and now you need to pay attention to your emotions, because your emotions are your guiding system. And no matter how much you process through the mind, until you feel it, you're not going to understand it. That's Mercury in Cancer. Until you feel it fully, you're not going to fully understand it. I remember, this reminds me of something that Matthias says quite often when he first started remembering his past lives. He started remembering how he felt. He started remembering the emotion of having to say goodbye to his beloved, community. It was the fall of Atlantis, where Essa says she'll be going through her Venus return. Yeah. And this is going to be a powerful time for that. So that's what I just was mentioning that story because, and then he asked, why do I have to feel it? Why can't I just remember it? And they were like, because the memory is in the emotion. The memory is not in the thought. The memory is in the emotion. So there's some deep wisdom there to the power of emotions to help us to really fully understand the world that we live in. But this Cancer stellium is making an opposition to the moon. So the moon is opposing the Cancer energy, which is super interesting because the moon rules Cancer. So the moon doesn't want to be in Capricorn, but it has to be in Capricorn. So the moon is like, okay, there's a lot of my vibes over there. They're kind of hanging out together. It's powerful, it's strong, it's important. But I'm holding on to this frequency, Capricorn. And believe it or not, Capricorn is a feminine sign. It's a cardinal sign, so it does initiate, but it's also a feminine sign. So Capricorn is also, now I started this by saying that there's no specific or significant stargates happening during this full moon, but wherever you find that Capricorn energy was where you find the Lyran energy. So the Lyrans are the oldest souls of the galaxy, and they bring wisdom, but that is also the energy of Saturn. Saturn brings wisdom. So it's about trusting the wisdom of the emotions, but using it not as a way of allowing yourself to get lost in the emotion. You have to feel the emotion fully, but then you have to use it to create something beautiful with it. And the support comes from Capricorn, because Capricorn is the one that will support the process of the building of the thing, whether it's whatever it is, doesn't matter. We often think of Capricorn as oh, it's a business. So it's about career. It's about, your life path. It's about success. And it is all those things. but it's about like building something important, building a foundation, building a structure that will last. It's like legacy. So we are building a legacy for ourselves. And somehow this energy is like super important and super strong for us right now. The last aspect I want to talk about before we go into the gene key of this full moon is right over here. We have Neptune at 29 degrees, which is actually making a square to both the moon and the sun. So what do we call this? We call this a T square. So Neptune takes like center stage, and he's like looking at these two directions and challenging. I'm going to challenge you. We're going to make it fun, and I'm going to add a challenge while you're doing all this emotional work, while you're like learning to trust your emotions, but also being strong and building a legacy. Is I'm going to bring in this frequency of the challenge is, can you swim through the waters of Pisces? Can you swim and not like drown, you know? Can you find your clarity? Because squares to Neptune, and I always like to say this, bring confusion. It's like, I don't know. I'm not sure, you know? We don't know. We're confused about how we feel. We're confused about what we want. We can be confused. We don't have clarity during that time. But that's true of emotions too. So you know what the wisdom is? I always say this too. Wait it out. Wait until the confusion stops and you're no longer clear. And it's easier said than done, because I personally myself, we react. Our emotions are so strong that we try to make decisions from strong emotion. One of the reasons why I love my husband so much is because he's always reminding me, like, just wait until like the clouds have passed, you know? This is not the time to be hashing this out. You know, we're not in the right space. You need to be in the right space to make the right decisions. So that's the big lesson of Neptune, is like, but don't just like, remember, the most important thing is you don't get lost in your emotions. You feel them because they have wisdom, but you need to wait the emotional wave out. And once you wait the emotional wave out, you will find the clarity. You will find the truth. You will like find your floaty. You will grow your fins, you know, in the sea of Pisces. But yes, that is our freaking full moon energy in terms of the astrology. So let me stop this share. And now I would love for us to talk about the gate that this is happening at. And if you don't know what this is the Gene Keys by Richard Rudd. We always do this in our broadcast. Somebody was like, you read too much. And I was like, but that's what we do. So I'm like, I'm not going to stop reading because I love sharing the wisdom of the Gene Keys. I teach the Gene Keys in the Moon Goddess training. And let me tell you, it's a powerful journey. I highly, highly, highly recommend you dive into your Gene Keys hologenetic profile and learn all about who you are. So 10th Gene Key is what we're dealing with here. This Gene Key moves from the shadow of self-obsession. How interesting is that? That the shadow that we're dealing with for this moon is self-obsession. Now, when you transmute this shadow, it's going to transform into the gift of naturalness, and then eventually into the city of being, just being. The descriptive phrase for this Gene Key is being at ease. So this moon is teaching us to be at ease. How is it teaching us that? Well, I don't know. You have to see in your own life how it's teaching you that, but it's teaching you to be at ease. It's teaching you to find your naturalness. It's teaching you to stop being so obsessed with yourself. So let's read about the 10th city of being. Divine laziness. Ooh, I like this. When the differentiated self has manifested its highest expression in the world through the 10th gift, one final surprise lies in store. There is a 6th phase to the process of becoming yourself that brings an end to the whole notion of self-knowledge. In a sense, it is a return to the stage before you asked the fateful question, who am I? This 6th phase is the 10th city of being. Welcome in. When the 10th city dawns in a human being, then for that person, even evolution itself has ended. In the 10th city, the differentiated self spontaneously dissolves in a higher mirror of the 3rd phase, in which the constructs of your search for self-knowledge end. However, at this citic level, everything dissolves. Self, not self, mind, form, purpose, meaning. The only word that ever gives a hint of what the 10th city holds is the word being. In the expressions of the mystical traditions, this is sometimes known as the I am consciousness. Get out of here with that shit. Although the very use of the word I can be misleading, in the 10th city, there is no sense of I. There is only pure consciousness expressed as being. The 10th city is destined to be deeply misunderstood by all those who do not live in its embrace. Along with its programming partner, the 15th city of fluorescence, it inspires one of the great metaphysical paradoxes of all time. This paradox is well expressed through a phenomenon particular to Buddhism, that of arhats and bodhisattvas, the 2 externalized manifestations of the highest state of enlightenment and self-realization. Without getting weighed down in hefty Buddhist dogma, these 2 expressions of human perfection can be understood as representing being and becoming, respectively. The arhats is of the 10th city representing pure being, a state in which evolution no longer exists or matters. For the arhat, once he or she is enlightened, the whole universe is also enlightened. So there is nothing more to be done. For the bodhisattva, who is the 15th city, there is no end to life, which is continually evolving, an evolving state of flowering. Thus, the bodhisattva takes a vow to deliberately hold back their enlightenment in favor of helping evolution complete itself in the form of guiding others towards the states of liberation. These 2 expressions of human perfection, the arhat and the bodhisattva, have caused a great deal of confusion in mystical circles. The way of being is represented strongly by the tradition of Advaita Vedanta, one of India's oldest spiritual streams. Through this 10th city, a great lightness is born and a great humor concerning life itself. To experience life through the 10th city is to see everything that normal humans think of as important reduced to a game or illusion. To the arhat, life is meaningless. Time is an illusion, and therefore evolution itself is a game. Because this viewpoint is generally viewed by the unenlightened as selfish and threatening to their ongoing identification with evolution, the arhat has been mostly eschewed in favor of the bodhisattva. Thus, flow, the politics of enlightenment. To those outside these states, they appear utterly contrary to one another, but to the being manifesting them, both poles are experienced together. The only differentiation between them is the language that the person uses to describe his or her experience or revelation. The Arhat has nothing left to do in the world, whereas the Bodhisattva has a deeply focused mission to help others. The 10th city is truly a beautiful expression of consciousness coming through the human form. These are people whose awakening encompasses all of existence. The intense focus on oneself that comes through the 10th jinki finally breaks its identification with form and experiences everything as self, with love as the fluid in which the multifarious aspects of the self are floating. You can see how easily misconstrued the message from this 10th city can become, especially in today's world, in which we humans are being called to participate more and more in our own evolution. The 10th city is a reminder that it is all but a game, a leela or a play, in which even our loftiest ambitions are ultimately meaningless. Obviously, if everyone held this view, evolution itself would stop in its tracks, since this view represents the ending of evolution. The 10th city sees the beauty of the game of evolution, but has no alternative but to undermine it. Being undermines everything. It does not allow identification with anything outside the wonder of the present moment. To the person who has entered the mystery of the 10th city, the two poles of being and becoming are one. It is their revelation to rest in the true nature of being and at the same time bear witness to the effervescent flow of form becoming more and more complex through evolution. The outer destiny of each person is governed by the primary gene keys that are genetically wired inside them. Thus, it is the primary city that determines the language and style of the particular enlightened manifestation. It is perhaps understandable then, and also a little sad, that the 10th city has been judged so unfavorably by metaphysicians for some time now. The powers that be do not want people to sit idly by and dream away their lives in the divine laziness of being. Those quieter days of the Arhats have been superseded. The modern day view that holds favor is that of the evolutionist. Today we are obsessed with evolution, by where it is taking us and whether we can control our own direction as a species. At times of potential crisis, like the time we are moving through today, being is seen as doing nothing. If we are to survive the next few centuries, there are things we must do. To the one within the 10th city, there has never been anything to do because there is no one to do it. So why all the fuss about our future? Being is the nature of consciousness in form, and it has no agenda or direction. It simply is. It is the simple statement that lies a power beyond all comprehension, and it establishes the 10th city as the sleeping giant within the human genome. Nothing has more power than being itself. We would each do well to remember the nature of being that rests behind all the dramas of the world and our individual lives. To rest unattached in the supreme state of being, while at the same time participating in the adventure of our evolution, is quite possibly the greatest task that the humans of the future will have to master. Wow, that is powerful. That is really beautiful. What do you guys think about it? So that's the energy that we are connecting with this full moon. So this full moon in essence is teaching us, is asking us to find a way to be at ease, to transmute the shadow of self-obsession. If we're obsessed so much with everything that's going on within ourselves, it's like we forget, to flow. And the energy of Cancer is to flow. Capricorn is not necessarily flow. It's a different kind of flow. It's more of like a practical flow. There's rules to it, but it's still flow, because to get to one point from one to another, you have to consistently work hard with the energy of Capricorn. So I think this is like teaching us to find the balance between the two things. I think this full moon is bringing us into, okay, there's all this stuff going on. The earth is going through all these crazy things. There's all these events. There's all these global events. There's all these things. And you can also chill the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there's a lot going on. You got a lot of work to do, life, da, da, da. But also, like, can you remember that sometimes, like, can you just remember the truth of it underneath or over all of it is to just, you're existing. And there was one gene key, I can't remember what it was. We talked about it a few weeks ago, where it's like, we just have to be in that flow. And when we're in that flow and we like just let go, there's nothing, we don't need to do anything other than just be and exist. So both and is what I'm hearing and what I'm receiving. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this full moon energy that we are going to see showing up by the end of the week on Friday, on June 21st, along with the summer solstice and along with Cancer season, we'll be doing our workshop for Cancer season this Saturday if you're in the membership. So I'm going to be creating those events today and tomorrow. So check those out and come join us so we can talk about what Cancer season is going to look like for us in our own chart. And you'll be able to do that in the membership. So I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. And I will see all of you very soon.